Welcome back to the Diamond K Show. Of course, my name is Diamond K. I am your host. Today, an explosive, historic moment in international affairs took place. The former president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, was captured in a U.S. military operation and flown to the United States to face federal charges. His wife and his son also implicated. The world is reacting. The oil industry is watching, obviously. Latin America on edge. Americans in the United States on edge. We're going to break down what happened, why it happened, and what this means for Venezuela, what it means for the United States, and global politics in general. So on January the 3rd, 2026, the year just starting off, but U.S. forces conducted a large-scale military operation in Venezuela that resulted in the capture of Nicolás and his wife. They've been transported to New York. And it's so ironic that the foreign president of Venezuela, Maduro, is going to be facing justice in America. This foreign president can face justice, but American presidents seemingly cannot face justice. So this family transported to New York. Now let's keep in mind he's a dictator. He is not a good person. So it is good to have another person in office. But I thought that this was America first. I thought that Trump and his cronies said we were not the policemen of the world. Yet here we are acting as the policemen of the world. Literally dragging folks, kidnapping them in many instances. It's been described as transporting them to New York. Ironically, a place where Trump said that the justice system was corrupted, but now all of a sudden it's good. So they're going to appear in federal court and all of that kind of stuff. They pled not guilty to the charges, including narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, conspiracy, and weapons offenses. Maduro declared himself a prisoner of war and asserted he is still the legitimate president of Venezuela. His defense team intends to challenge the legality of his capture and argue head of state immunity. Is that something like what Trump has? Head of state immunity? Multiple Venezuelan officials and allies were also named in U.S. indictments. So, confusingly, we can indict folks from other countries into our justice system. Interesting, but folks that are here, not so much, right? So Maduro's son and other high-level figures have been accused of corruption, involvement in the cocaine trafficking networks, etc., etc. So why all this matters, the regime change and international law. This is one of the most outrageous interventions in Latin America in many years. Critics are arguing that the operation, the entire operation, violates the sovereignty and international law. And I think that there is a case to be made for that. Allies of Venezuela, including Cuba, Russia, and others, have condemned the move as state terrorism. Let's think about that. Cuba, Russia, and others are condemning the United States. Now, when you think about what has happened, there's obviously distraction from the Epstein files. on the date that this seemingly illegal operation took place, that was another Epstein deadline that has just come and gone. We've seen this story before, though. There are clear oil and strategic interests present. Venezuela has some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world. The U.S. presidency under Donald Trump has stated publicly that the U.S. will, air quotes, run Venezuela temporarily and focus on getting oil production flowing again. That tells you all you need to know. This is and always has been about oil. This isn't about justice. It's about control of key strategic resources in a region that has been unstable for years. So let's talk about these drug trafficking allegations. The U.S. indictments allege long-standing cooperation between Venezuelan officials and international cartels involving groups like FARC and Mexican cartels, enabling cocaine trafficking into the United States. Now, if proven, these charges underscore how deeply intertwined criminal networks may have become with state power. That is serious. But there are global ripple effects. Let's talk about regional politics first. Latin American countries are naturally taking sides. Some support the U.S. action, others decry it as overreach. There is a humanitarian impact. Venezuelan citizens have already endured years of economic collapse, shortages, mass immigration. The folks that are complaining about immigration here in America the most have no problem doing things that create immigration and migration. This upheaval is going to impact ordinary Venezuelans far more than it's going to impact global leaders. We also need to talk about the future of U.S. versus Venezuelan relations. The U.S. has positioned itself as a temporary, air quotes, administrator and regulator of Venezuelan oil and governance. How long that will last and how it's viewed internationally, this remains to be seen. This is an ongoing story, and it is something that is happening in real time. There always seems to be some type of an update, a contradiction, or something like that. It's the Sunday shows. Of course, you had Marco Rubio talking about this topic on some of what we call the Sunday political shows, and these shows take place on mainstream media in many instances, and it's usually political theater, right? And Marco Rubio, who has been wearing a lot of hats, was on with George Stephanopoulos, and George said to Marco something, and he hit this point. It was like a bullseye. He said that you cannot credibly argue that drug trafficking charges demand invasion in one case while issuing a pardon in another. I mean, that right there just hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. And but of course, hypocrisy has never been something that this administration shied away from. James Carville said that he never underestimate what Trump will do to draw attention away from the Jeffrey Epstein files and from the fact that average people are about to be plunged into health insurance they can't afford while we run up $3 trillion in debt. And I think that is spot on. All of these things are distraction. And surprisingly, the word fentanyl does not appear anywhere in the 25-page indictment of Maduro. That's interesting because they were talking about all of the fentanyl that he's bringing over here, right? It is very interesting. The United States, as I said, can hold a foreign president responsible. Can hold that foreign president responsible for breaking U.S. law, but not an American president. It is so interesting. So interesting. So Donald Trump has come up with detailed plans to do this and to renovate the Kennedy Center and all this kind of stuff, but no plan for health care. We have all of this, but no plan for health care. And Donald Trump has become the first U.S. president to bomb 7 countries in 1 year. This is the peace president, by the way. This is the peace president, by the way. Now, the U.S. controls Venezuela's oil reserves, and it is valued at $17.3 trillion. That is trillion with a T. This is about money, as always. This is about money. But on the Sunday shows, Marco Rubio, they had him out here making the rounds. And he also said that on live TV that Cuba is in a lot of trouble. Is this some type of a signal that Cuba is Trump's next target? Keep in mind that the U.S. national debt has now passed 39 trillion. 39 trillion. It was 36 trillion when Trump took office, but his administration has added nearly $3 trillion to the debt in 11 months. 11 months. Come on now. If you believe that Trump bombed Venezuela to stop drug trafficking, that's like believing he redacted the Epstein files to protect victims. And we know he didn't do it for that reason. We know he didn't do it for that reason. But it is crazy how they can arrest Maduro in 3 hours, but are unable to arrest any of Epstein's clients after all these years. Very, very interesting. As always, Republicans love destabilizing countries and then cry about immigration. They destabilize these countries. They throw things into chaos and then wonder why there is such a spike in immigration. If you remember 2024, during the campaign, Trump said that Kamala Harris would start a war in 6 months. Donald Trump has started 6 in 1 year. I mean, just the hypocrisy. Just the hypocrisy. If Nicolás Maduro stands trial in this country and gets convicted of 34 felonies, does that mean that he's qualified to be our next president? No. He's obviously not a citizen, but it is just something that, I don't know, we can't fall for the distractions. Congress really needs to gain some teeth. Trump's approval rating in the toilet. This is also a distraction from the Epstein files. It's also about stealing the oil from this country, as we have talked about. Trump says that they're going to run the country until we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. Does he even know what that word means? We do know that Venezuelan President Maduro does not have 34 felony convictions, unlike Donald Trump. And we can't forget the fact that Trump pardon the ex-Honduran president who smuggled 400 tons of narcotics into the United States. Maduro, I guess, just has to get his bribe money together and then Trump will pardon him. Because it's not about the drugs. Maduro was a brutal ruler. That's true. But so is Putin, who Trump supports. So is Bolsonaro, who Trump supports. So was the drug trafficking former head of Honduras, who Trump just pardoned. But so is Bukele in El Salvador. So is MBS. Stop pretending that Trump cares about illegitimacy, because he does not. That's not even what this is about. This is about the oil. This is about the oil. If this was about drug trafficking, then why did Trump pardon the former president of Honduras, who was convicted of bringing hundreds of tons of drugs to this country? Crazy. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section, of course. On all social media, I am at the Diamond K Show. Trump says with Maduro in custody that he now wants to help the people of Cuba. I don't know if he's capable of helping anybody. But these actions in Venezuela show why it was wrong to dismiss his threats to Greenland. If Trump is willing to do this, he will be willing to do anything. He will be willing to do anything. So now, foreign presidents can be held accountable for crimes in our country. But American presidents, not so much. So Shell, ExxonMobil, Chevron, they got what they want when they bankrolled Trump's campaign. Looks like that. Venezuelan oil. That's what they wanted, right? We're going to continue to follow this story. Obviously, it is continuing to unfold. It has a lot of moving pieces. There are a lot of moving parts. And the story touches on everything from great power politics to energy security to drug wars and international law. For the Diamond K Show, this is history unfolding in real time. Make sure you stay with us as we continue to monitor these developments. We're going to analyze what comes next. Of course, as always, onfirebroadcasting.com, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. Definitely on Substack, diamondk.substack.com. Make sure that you subscribe, support the show. I will be back here tomorrow. As always, your man Diamond K. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.